Right, the next section is gender equality, and this is quite a sensitive one due to the fact we talk about a couple of harsh things. Right, what is gender equality? Gender equality means when men and women are considered equal value and treated the same. That means they have the right to the same resources, same rights, opportunities, and protection of the law. Some countries, women are not treated the same, and these countries tend to be abusing their rights. Girls and women will be able to have the same right to education as men and boys. Once again, in certain countries, under the Taliban in Afghanistan, girls over the age of 12 are not allowed to be in school or work or go to university. They have to be at home being taught by their mum to be a wife. That means that is not gender equality, it's inequality. You have to have also under gender equality equal opportunities to get jobs and not be discriminated in because they are women. Now, gender equality in issues in sport. Sport, unfortunately, is one of the areas where we have a lot of inequality because it is seen as traditionally a man's job. There are more opportunities for men as well as more resources available because also more people watch men's sport than women's sport. In ancient Greece, in the beginning of the Olympic Games, women were not allowed to participate. In 1900, they were the first time allowed in certain events. Here by the 1920s, they could participate in all events, but obviously there were certain rules involved. Also, men's team earn more money than female sport women's teams due to the fact that more people watch men's sport, therefore they earn more in advertising and that type of thing. There was a court case of the American football side that stated the women's side won the World Cup 4 times, but they earned less than the men, and the men haven't even qualified for the last World Cup. Thus, they feel they should get equal pay. Yet, um, the problem is not a lot of people watch women's sports. I mean, a lot of people knew there was the World Cup women this year, but if it was the men's, it would have been a massive event. What is gender-based violence? It is an action or threat by man or men that can cause physical, sexual, and emotional harm to a woman or a girl. That examples are domestic violence, sexual abuse, rape, or sexual abuse. Sorry, I mean, uh, that, that's a mistake, sorry. Also, forced pregnancy, where girls are forced under the age to fall pregnant so that the family can get the grant money for the child, and a lot of times the poor child is left in the bushes or in a drain. Sexual harassment, where the girl is being harassed by inappropriate jokes, gestures, touching, and she feels threatened. And in South African law, if you're a male and you're doing it, you're in deep trouble. This is found in many countries and in many communities, especially in South Africa. It is a prevalent thing which is dangerous, and it also recently exploded due to the fact of COVID, where people were at home. What is the effects of rape and gender-based violence on the women? Women feel afraid to stand up. They feel they've got no voice, and in some cultures they do not have that voice. They feel worthless, means that there's no one there to help them or save them, and they don't get the same respect or help they need. They believe that they are the problem, which is in a lot of cases not true, most of the cases. Victims must be convinced that the violence they experience is not real and not supposed to happen. It's not acceptable. It's not a private matter because it impacts everyone, the community, as well as the family itself. Why I say the community? Because that community gets stigmatized as a violent area. There's no excuse for rape. No story that a woman said no means yes and that kind of rubbish. Rape is a crime and it should be dealt with harshly. And obviously, real men will respect women, their right to say no, and that they would follow that right. Respect is one of our foundations for human rights. 16 Days of Activism was started in 1991 by 154 countries to end violence against women and children. Recently, men have been added to it as well. They declared that from the 25th of November to the 10th of December, there should be no domestic violence or any violence against women and children. They want to help people. Obviously, the goals are to get people that commit violence to change their behavior or give themselves up either for rehab or punishment. Men that get involved must get involved to help rid the world of this violence. Women should be treated with respect. Victims need better services and organizations to help. And in this situation, a lot of people get help from this activism day. What can we do? Obviously, we support by wearing the white bow. We listen and talk about abuse to make sure that everyone understands how abuse takes place and what is there to help a victim of abuse. Help them to stand up and get help. A lot of times they don't want to get help because they're afraid, especially if they are financially dependent on the abuser. Report child abuse to the police. Obviously here, if it's serious, report it, have it investigated, but not report falsely. Like for instance, a child that's angry at their parents claiming abuse and there was no abuse. Report bully behavior to the school, that the school handled it based on the school's management plan. Volunteer your help and time to help others, especially in areas where this takes place. And donate to the organizations. A lot of times these organizations do not get any funding from the state and solely rely on people to give them donations so they can help these people. Now, this is the law, the Prevention of Violence Against Women, the Sexual Offences Act. It was entered in 2007 by law. It means it protects everyone's rights, especially women's rights, not to be assaulted. And it is under the law, it states the sexual offences, but it's rape, the age of consent, and obviously the rights of the rape victim. Now remember, no woman or man deserves to be raped. It's a falsehood. Age of consent, that it means the minimum age a person legally can participate in sexual acts. A child under 12 is immediately seen as a crime due to the fact that child doesn't understand what's happening, and that can lead to further problems. In South Africa, there is a law. If both the boy and the girl is above 16, they can be able to have intercourse if it's consensual, which means it is done with permission. Statutory rape means the girl is underneath 16 and there's sexual penetration, which means there is rape, and that person can go to jail. Sometimes rape victims are placed on antiretroviral drugs immediately due to the fact they do not know the status of their rapist, and it's just to be sure. And then you as a rapist will be obviously found guilty in court. You will be sentenced to a life sentence, can be vary from 10 to 15 years. And if you are let out earlier, you will be registered on the National Register of Sex Offenders, which means that you have to, by law, that the people in the area where you live in know that you are a sex offender, and obviously stay away from kids. This is especially for people that have tried raping kids. Rape takes place when it's intimidated, coerced, or threatened in any ways, when a person convinces you that's the right thing to do and or threaten you by using a weapon, which was forced by someone who abuses power. It's like a boss telling his secretary to get promotion, they have to sleep with him. In America, the biggest case was the Me Too movement had against Harvey Weinstein, the producer that said to young actresses they have to sleep with him in order to get up in the line. The girl that's asleep, unconscious, or under the influence of drugs and alcohol, that is a no-no because they can't consent. And if the girl is under the age of 16, that's 15 and younger. How can you help these victims? What sources are available? Number one, or what can you do if you're a victim? Look at the triggers. What triggers a person to assault you or try to hurt you? Keep your reason straight to leave home. So if you need to flee from the situation, make sure that reason is good. Identify areas where you'll be safe. Use a code word. There was an instance where a lady was assaulted and kidnapped, and she was held in her home. And she found the police and told them she was ordering pizza. Meantime, the police realized she was in trouble, and using code words, they found her house and could help her. Have an escape plan ready, bags packed, so if you need to get out, you can get out. Make and memorize a list of emergency contact numbers, people you can find, authorities you can phone, so you can get out. Report unlicensed firearms or confiscate them or give them up, and join the community police form to help other victims out. Thank you very much.